Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's version of the Awesome Dynamics Show. We have some great topics that we're going to discuss today. Before we do, briefly, we have to discuss this topic. So we are world champion Chicago Cubs fans here in the Chicago area. Just had to bring that up. Sorry. And I want to go ahead and get started. We have a pretty full staff today. We're missing our friend Blake, but he should be joining us shortly. We're going to be talking about some Google issues today, and I'm going to turn that right over to Robin to get us started. Robin, let's get going.
All right. So today we wanted to talk about Google reviews. Your business will die without them. And it's true, even if you're brick and mortar only, your business really depends on these reviews, because a lot of people will Google first and then they will choose a business based on their reviews. So let's start with some of the best places for online reviews. Obviously, Google. Here's a shot of what it would look like with the stars here. That's a local pack. And then other places you can get reviews online. Facebook, Google's starting to integrate Facebook into their search results and their knowledge graphs. So that's a great place for it. Amazon, Yelp, Angie's List, TripAdvisor. These are all great places, especially if you have a business that's related to traveling. You want to be on TripAdvisor. And then Twitter is actually unsuspecting because you can actually get some search results from Twitter. So you can take up a spot on Google if you have some good reviews on Twitter. And it's not necessarily, there's no review section on Twitter. But if someone does a positive tweet about you and it has some lasting power, it could show up on Google. And then lastly, we have industry-specific sites. So industry-specific sites are anything like, let's say you're a doctor. You want to be reviewed on, let's say, a chiropractor website. You want to have a great review on there, and a lot of people can have the potential to find you on there. So reviews aren't just for ranking, they're also for real people. And some place that most people don't think about putting reviews are on your own website. So you could have some of your testimonials and reviews from your happy clients and put them on your website. And what you're going to see in some of your search results, if you have your webmaster do it correctly with something called schema markup, is you can have a result in the organic section of Google, so those top 10 results, with stars underneath your name. So that's definitely a great place to put original reviews.
And Robin, just to further that point real quick, the duplicate content is what we're looking to avoid. So when Robin says original content, that means reviews that don't appear anywhere else online should be posted on your website. So you don't want to copy something from Facebook or Google and paste it onto your website. You want to have maybe happy customers that send you a different testimonial, or maybe something you write up and get their approval would be the best way to go about that. But let's get back to Robin's presentation.
Sure. So
Robin, if I could jump in just for one quick second. Every time I hear this phrase, I always want to ask what it is to make sure that people who might be watching know. You mentioned schema markup. And can you just give us a quick second on what that exactly means, please?
Sure. So schema markup is basically a fancy word for translating your text into Google's language. So it's, if you go from English to Spanish, something like that, but it's so that Google can read it. And when Google can read your website, it gives you a lot of benefits. So
I also got another way of thinking about it. I don't know how many people that are watching this are familiar with ISO, I think it's 9000 standards. Anyway, it's just standardized way of doing things. So you know how 8.5 by 11 paper fits in every printer, and that's the standard size? That standard is something that schema markup provides to search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo. So by using that standard markup language that's on the back end of your site, it lets the search engine see, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a review right here because that language was put behind the code. So that's another way to think about it. All right, Robin.
All right. So why are these online reviews so important? Why should you care about online reviews? Well, there's many different reasons. For example, you can rank higher on the organic search. So organic search just means the top 10 results on Google. So part of Google's algorithm, I mean, there's hundreds of items that go into who's number one and, who's on the 20th page. But reviews are definitely a huge part of ranking. And then ranking higher on the local pack results. So I can bring up an example here. Let's just try Googling. Let's see, what's a good example here? Maybe like pizza restaurant. And you're going to see that we have the local results at the top here. We have 3 options. And then underneath here is the organic results. And then we have news results. So you can see that you can rank higher. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the local pack results, is these top 3 right here. Most people don't click here to go see more places and get more results. What they do is they pick from this top 3. And you can see that this 3.2 versus this 4.5, even if the 4.5 was down here lower, I would definitely go with the higher rating. And they even have 45 reviews here, and this place only has 11. So something that definitely affects the local pack results are your reviews.
Yeah, it's amazing how many opportunities that exist out there where the competition doesn't have any reviews, or they just have under 5, because you need 5 to get those gold stars to show. And if you have at least 5 of the gold stars, your average is higher than everyone else, or you just completely blow them out of the water with the number of reviews, and your average can make such a huge difference. We have such a cool success story on this with one of our clients. It's a sign company that has almost 100 reviews on Google. They closed a 7-figure client based on their reviews. The company even said, the reason we called you is because we had to know the guy that had, at the time, 85 5-star reviews. We had to know who this guy was. They were shopping for another sign company because they were disappointed. They called our client. He closed a 7-figure contract, which is just unbelievable. So people make decisions even at really high levels for high dollar figure contracts based on these reviews that you see instantly in that first impression in those search results. So it's so important to do that, whether you're selling 7-figure contracts or just getting someone to come into your retail business's door. Back to you, Robin.
Yeah, another reason why you want to put some emphasis and time into your online reviews are because it adds trust to your business. It's something like 75% and growing trust online reviews as much as they would their own friends. And they actually work with real people. So it's not just getting about ranking on search engines and getting the local results. Real people look at these results and, like Paul said, make decisions based upon that. Another reason to get these online reviews is you can take up more than one spot on that top 10. So let's say your website is the number 1 position and you have 9 competitors underneath there on Google. Well, if you have these great reviews, they could be possibly taking up spots underneath there and pushing your competitors off the page, just like how citations would. All right.
So, Robin, that's what, when we talk to people, we like to talk about what I say is the really great part, which is if you can get to actually not only improve your own rankings, but start to push your competitors off the front page.
Exactly. That's our goal.
Yeah, you look up and see yourself, and not your competitors, you're in a pretty good place.
Definitely.
Robin, you just said that whole 75% of people trust that. I just saw an article come from Bright Local. They did a survey, and I think it's up to like 85% of people trust the online reviews as much as word of mouth from somebody else, which is just, it continues to increase. People are counting on these reviews much more as time goes on. But I remember seeing that in my inbox. I'm trying to pull it up now, but go ahead and proceed with the presentation, please.
Sure. So why are we focusing today on Google reviews and not Facebook reviews or Yelp or all these other popular websites? Well, do you usually go to Yelp to find a new restaurant, or to find, a doctor in the area? I mean, most people go to Google, so that's why we're focusing on these Google reviews, and they have a ton of power online. All right, so how to get reviews. A lot of people overlook this one, the ask nicely. It really depends on how you ask for your review, especially when you're in person or through an email or however you're asking to really get to ask someone in a nice way so that they'll go ahead and go through this process of getting the reviews. And our goal today is to show you how to get these reviews, and we're going to show you every step of how to respond to the reviews, and also of how to get even rid of some negative reviews. So we're going to go through each detail of Google reviews. But asking nicely is definitely the first step to getting some reviews. Also, asking your happy customers. If you have someone at the front desk and they're asking every single person that comes by, you want to make sure that they're not just handing out cards to someone or something like that. You want to make sure that they're having a great experience and talk to them first. And then once you know that they're going to leave you a 5-star review, go ahead and ask for that. And then, ask your contractors. If you're, let's say you're a business, like you sell manufactured goods and you have a ton of contractors that you work with, or maybe you're in the business of selling homes and you have a lot of different people that, let's say you have someone stage the house. You can ask that person for a review. And you can even exchange reviews with them, with other businesses. Who's more motivated to exchange a review than another business owner who needs reviews? So that is totally fine in Google's rules. You can definitely exchange reviews with other businesses, as long as you've either done business with them or you've met them or you can speak to their character, something like that. You can ask through your email list. We have seen that this is effective. It's less effective than asking in person, though. But that's definitely an option to put review us at the bottom of your emails. You can ask on your website. Right now, we have, I'll show you right here that we have a place to review. So on our website, Awesome Dynamic, we have a Review Us button. It's a great place to tell your customers where to go. And then what we decided to do was a thumbs up and thumbs down. So thumbs down goes to our contact page so that it doesn't get anywhere near a review site where it can be publicly seen. But if you press the thumbs up, and then we give you the option of rating us on Google, rating us on Facebook, and we found that that's an effective method to get reviews, especially if you combine it with the email list.
Right. If they hit that thumbs down, on that page, it even says call Terry's personal cell phone. He's going to take care of you, make sure you get things straightened out. We don't want to have what I like to call, the bad customer service effect, where I'm upset. I don't want to get somebody on the phone that's not going to be able to take care of my problem. I want somebody who's going to help me right away. And that's the key to somebody that's upset. If they're happy, let's get them to a review site right away. That button, that Review Us button, is something that we even have done postcards with, where we give them a picture of what that button looks like and hand it to the customer and say, go to my website, look for this button on this postcard here, and click it and leave us a 5-star review. It would mean so much to me and help other people like you with the services that we have with our business. Please proceed, Robin.
A few other ways you can get reviews: webinars like this one. You can ask for reviews, and that you'll have a captive audience for webinars. So that's a great way to get reviews. Especially if you're giving out free content, it's a great way to have your captive audience give out great content, and all you're asking in return is 1 minute of their time. And then social media, you can definitely reach out to your groups and your network on social media to get some more reviews. I found that LinkedIn is really great for that. Facebook's really great for that. And you can ask for Google reviews on Facebook. All right. And then lastly, we have throw a review party here. We've definitely done this in the past and have a very successful review parties where business owners and people in the community come out and they learn about how to make a review, how to post your Google review on different phones, different formats, and then we're all in one room, so we exchange business cards and then we get reviews that way. All right.
Couple of keys to think about when doing a review party. Number one, if you have a whole bunch of people in the same room, let's say it's a customer appreciation party and you get them together, make sure they're not on the Wi-Fi. If Google sees a whole bunch of reviews coming from the same IP address, that's going to throw up red flags all over the place. So if you get them together, have them connect individually using their phones to their own cell phone carriers with independent IP addresses. And also don't have them all do it at once. Have them commit to doing so over the next few weeks. Maybe do a few now as an example, and then have the rest of the people in the room do them later. So this way you don't get a whole bunch at once. One of the things that can be a red flag and even is a ranking factor is review velocity, but in a consistent way. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of reviews just all popping up at once. We want to have a regularity to it, a few in a month on a regular basis, or if you get 10 in a month, the next month should be 10. So usually establishing some sort of way to make sure that there's some consistency, whether it's regular review parties or say, you know what, you two do it next week, you two do it the week after. That might be a better way to approach that. And part of this review party, like Robin said, is showing them how to do it. And one of the easiest ways is on the phone. And that's going to lead into what Robin's going to be pulling up next. So Robin, you want to, I think maybe it's Tim that needs to be pulling up this video. Is that right, Robin?
Sure. First, I was going to start off with some of the links. So here's the first link for everyone. It's how to read and reply to reviews. So we're going to show you in two different formats. One is just text from Google's website, and the next one is going to be a video. So you can see on the read and reply to reviews on Tim's screen that if you hit the desktop button and the mobile drop-down button,
just a moment, Robin. Tim, do you have? Oh, you do. Can you get Robin's screen up? You do have it. Good. Okay, continue, Robin.
Okay. Yeah. So you can have the desktop and the mobile procedures right here. Just as a note, though, Google is constantly updating, and they don't always update their help section in real time. But if you'd like the visual steps right here, and the link is shared in the chat. But let's go ahead and go to these two videos here.
All right, Tim, do you want to cue up video 1 for us?
Great, and that one's the one for the desktop, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Here we go. Today, I'm going to show you how to leave a review for Sexton Development on their Google Plus page. First, open up your web browser and navigate to sextondevelopment.com. Once the page loads, scroll down to the bottom of the site where you will see a button that says Review Us Google Local. Click on this button where it will take you to the Google Plus page and ask you to sign in if you have not signed in already. Please type in your Google email address and password, then click Sign In. Once you have signed in, you will see the Review Sexton Development box show up. At this point, you can go ahead and leave your star rating, then type in a descriptive and unique review about Sexton Developments. Once you have completed the review, click on Publish. It may take some time for your review to go live on the Google Plus page. This is normal. Once your review is live, you can scroll down to the bottom of the Google Plus page where you can see all the reviews for Sexton Developments.
Now, a little bit of how that works is a little bit dated, but that version of that video was using a button that we had put on that client's website and allows you to just click the button and got you to the right place. I want to do a live demonstration of how it works right now. And Tim, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And let me throw a browser over here. And I'm just going to look for Awesome Dynamic. So usually If I search a business name, it's going to say the business over here in what's called the knowledge graph. And you can see right here, I have the ability to write a review. So you can also tell them to search for the business name, and on the right side, you're going to see the write a review. But we find that having that button or having the thumbs up, thumbs down method that we showed you earlier to really have one click, so I don't have to go looking or typing for anything, is going to be a lot more efficient. So I can type here and then type a story about my experience. Notice that I have never left a review on my business. That's on purpose, and Robin's going to get into that as well. Tim, do you want to cue up the other video for the phone, which is current and accurate?
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Switch over. Today, I'm going to show you how to leave a review for Sextant Development on your smartphone. The first step is to open up your Google Maps application. Once there, you will do a search for Sextant Development. Once you have located the business, go ahead and tap at the bottom where it says Sextant Development. Move down the page where you will see a star rating. Tap on your rating from 1 to 5, enter in your comment, then click on Post. Make sure you leave something descriptive and unique about Sextant Development. After you hit Publish, your review may take some time to go live. This is normal.
All right, so what's great about that particular example is it uses Google Maps. And one point to really understand is the phone method works great for people who have an Android device. And there's the reason for that is there's actually 3 reasons. 1, you can't own an Android phone without having a Gmail account or a Google account. 2, it comes pre-installed with Google Maps on the phone. On iPhones, you don't have that. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. And 3, your Google account is already signed into the Google Maps application on the Android phone. So those are 3 hurdles that an iPhone user has to go through that an Android user doesn't have to do. So what you saw on the screen just a moment ago is something that an Android user can do in 3 seconds. They can just start doing it. Whereas an Android or an iPhone user needs to download Google Maps, which is called Google Maps on the iPhone, not just Maps, because if you see something called Maps on the iPhone, that's actually Apple Maps. It's not Google Maps. So you have to get Google Maps from there. 2, an iPhone user can blissfully go about their life without ever having a Google account, whereas an Android user has to have a Google account to even use the phone. So an iPhone user might not even have a Google account at all. So they need to sign up for a Google account if they didn't already have one. And then 3, once they have Google Maps on the phone, on the iPhone, and they have a Google account, they need to go into Google Maps on the iPhone and sign in with their Google account. Then they can do what you just saw on the screen. Is that reasonable to ask a customer to do? No. What we do for iPhone users is ask them to leave a review on Yelp if they're a regular Yelper, or just go to Facebook if they're on Facebook and leave your review there. That's what's nice about the thumbs up, thumbs down system is we tell them to go to the website, click on the Review Us button, they select the thing that they're comfortable with, and they leave a review there. If you notice that they come into your office and they have an Android phone, what we tell you is take their phone away from them. And of course, you're not going to reach over the counter and grab their phone. You're going to say, you know what, would you be so kind to leave a 5-star review for my business? It would mean so much for me and help me grow my business. They're going to probably say yes. Then you say, all right, do you mind if I get you to the right place? And they'll say, sure, no problem. Then you take the phone from them. We go to Google Maps on the phone, get them to the right place, hit the 5 stars for them, hand it back to them, and say, all you got to do is tell a great story about your experience here. And this way, it really bridges all the gaps of where do I have to go, what do I have to search for, which app do I have to go in, and all that other business. You just give them the area where they type, they hit send, you got the review before they walked out the door. That's the single most effective way of getting the reviews from your customers. So if you can facilitate that and really take notice of the phone that they have when they're at your location, that can be extremely effective. All right, Robin, let's go back to your presentation.
Great. Now we're going to talk about some of the review do's and review don'ts. Some of the things you definitely want to do are have a regular review schedule. So set a goal for yourself. Maybe you want to get that top 5 reviews, the initial 5 reviews to get those stars. Get that right away in the first month. But then after that, let's set a goal of getting at least 2 or 3 reviews every month. Reviews are somewhat difficult to get because you do have to convince someone to do something for you without anything in return. All right, and then the site review audit. So it's always a great idea. You can use a program out there, or you can just go to each one of these sites that we mentioned at the beginning of this presentation and just check out where you stand online. If you have no idea right now, what your average rating is on Yelp, on Angie's List, on Google, definitely do at least a hand site audit, but you can go to these free audit pages. There's a lot of resources online where you can figure out how you're doing online, and other review sites that you might not even know about that have good or bad reviews about your business right now. Another thing that business owners don't always think to do is they respond to the negative reviews, but they don't always respond to the positive reviews. You want to respond to both types of reviews because it builds trust with the community, and it makes you look like you're very interactive online. You want to, when you're asking for reviews, definitely stress that it's quick and easy, that it's just going to take a minute, so that you'll be more likely to get the reviews. We did mention in the beginning here, you need a minimum of 5 reviews in order to get those golden stars to show up on Google on that local pack.
Robin,
yes.
I just wanted to jump in for a second. Are we going to talk about how we respond to negative reviews at some point today?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
All right, then you want to include a keyword, but you don't want to force it. So the good way to get your reviewers to add in a keyword is to have them tell their story. So let's say they got a massage. Instead of just having them write, great massage, or had a great experience, or just write 5 stars and no text. What you want them to do, encourage them to tell their own story and include as many details as they can, and that's naturally going to put the keyword in there. Tell them, don't just say, well, you got a massage, say what type of massage, like Swedish massage. And so that, being that specific, will actually put in keywords into your review. And then you're more likely to pop up when people search for those. So telling a story is the way to go on that.
Yeah, they could also talk about why they got the massage in the first place. I had back pain, or I had some leg pain, or I had a sports injury. So those are all key words that would be great for your listing to rank for, massage for sports injury. If they said those words in the review, that would be phenomenal, and it helps you show up if those words are actually attached to your business. So having the people tell a story about their experience allows you to really get some of those keywords in there. Now, when Robin said responding to positive reviews, if they don't use the keyword, feel free to use it in your response. But if they do use it, don't go over the top, because we don't want to be keyword stuffing. The other thing to keep in mind is that that when you're asking them to leave a review, we don't want overly enthusiastic reviews with all caps lock, tons of exclamation points, and this is the best massage therapy place on the planet. That's a little bit over the top. We want just a nice story about their experience is what we're looking for, not anything over the top. So that's really what messaging you need to give to the people, your happy clients, when they're going to give you a review. Also, typos and misspellings are great. It helps pass through the Google filter of what they approve and think is authentic versus not. Real people make mistakes, so mistakes are typos and misspellings. So those are things that aren't necessarily bad at all. Go ahead, Robin.
All right, now the things that you don't want to do during reviews. You can't have your family members review and employees or owners. So as you can see, that's why Paul doesn't have a review on his own site, is because he's the owner. And then you don't want to use Wi-Fi connected to your business. So if they're trying to review your business while at your business, they have to be disconnected to any type of Wi-Fi. You also can't set up like a kiosk in the, let's say, the waiting room to get reviews. That's definitely against Google's policies. All right. getting many reviews at once, that could definitely set up a red flag. But it's proportional. So let's say that you regularly get 10 reviews a day. So it wouldn't be that out there to say you got maybe 15 reviews the next day. But if you regularly get 1 review a month and then all of a sudden in one day you get 10 reviews or even 5 reviews in one day, it's going to send up a red flag to Google. So it's definitely proportional. There's not an exact number because it's part of Google's secret algorithm. So I can't give you an exact number on that, but it's whatever you regularly get. You don't want to stray too much from that. And a really important part is that you can't give anything in exchange, even like a free cookie, in order to, get a review. Coupons don't count either. You can't give out any coupons or things like that, or any incentives. So Google reviews are 100% just out of the goodwill of the person that they just genuinely like your business or dislike your business to get a review. So.
And the penalty, and Google has penalized businesses for, is they can just remove you from their website, or just put into their algorithm, you know what, this company isn't going to be on page 1, and we'll just punch that into the computer and make sure that happens. So you don't want to. The likelihood of getting the penalty probably isn't that high, but I just prefer not to go there at all. So that's probably the best advice that we could give you on that. All right, back to you, Robin.
All right, Terry, we're going to get into responding to reviews now. So it's a really easy step, this first one, but a lot of business owners don't even realize that they have a GMBL, which stands for Google My Business Listing. If you see online that you have some negative reviews on Google and you're frustrated, you want to do something about it, the first step is just claiming your Google My Business Listing. It's really important to do that even if you don't have any reviews. That's really the first step of ranking on Google. So in order to claim your business listing, all you have to do is go to Google Maps, type in your business, and that's just maps.google.com. I'll put that in the chat here. And then you search for your business and just say, it'll give you the option of, are you the business owner? So it's also possible that maybe someone else claimed your business and you want to make sure that you have 100% control of your business listing, because that's what Google wants you to have, is 100% control of your business, so you can change the hours, you can respond to reviews, and you have add pictures. There's a lot you can do with your Google My Business.
If you watch some of our prior webinars, which you can see in the archives, I think we've done that as an example probably a good 50 times in prior webinars. So you can look up in our webinar archives an example, and we usually start with either Google Maps or gybo.com, which is Get Your Business Online. But that's a whole other topic. But having control of it gives you the ability to respond to them very easily. And the one thing that I wanted to throw up on the screen here, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, is there's an app for your phone to help you with this, and it's both in the Google Play Store for Android, and the same app has the same icon here, this blue icon with the awning, is the Google My Business app, and you can download this onto your phone. It's available in the iTunes App Store as well for Apple iPhones, and it'll actually throw up a notification on your phone whenever you get a review. Allows you to respond to reviews, change your hours, post pictures, all sorts of really cool stuff to manage your business right from your phone on Google. So that's something that you can certainly get to the review responses like Robin's talking about as well. Back to you, Robin.
Sure. So there is this time frame, this 24 to 72 hours after you get either a positive or negative review. And a great way, like Paul said, is to use this Google My Business app. It'll give you a notification so that you don't have to log into your computer every single day. It'll just come right to your phone. So the reason why you want to respond so quickly is because, let's say it's a negative review out there. Well, there's no response from you, and it could be up there for months, and then people are looking down on your business. If you have a review and then a response, either positive or negative reviews, and you're going to really look like you're part of the community, you care about your business, you're an active business owner. And even if even if it's 2 years later, you can still respond to a review. So if you are just starting out with Google My Business and you have some reviews on there, it doesn't matter how late you respond, definitely still respond. But ideally, 24 to 72 hours is the time frame. You want to have a positive tone, and when you are responding, especially to positive reviews, you want to make sure not to just say thank you or that's great. You want to make sure that you're putting in some sort of new information. So you don't want it to be like an ad and say, oh, well, that's great that, you tried our garlic bread, but have you tried our, butter flight or something like that. So you don't want to really sell and advertise, but you could say, I'm great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We do have happy hour on, Monday through Friday at this time. So come back and join us. So that would be an example of new information and not just a thank you on a positive review. So you always want to start with an apology for negative reviews, even if it was completely the person was completely in the wrong, or even if they responded, let's say they mixed up your business with some other business. We're going to go over on how to get rid of those negative reviews and methods you can try to get rid of some of those less positive reviews. But for negative reviews, you want to start with the apology so that you can set the tone. But if it's not your business, still do it, because it might take 2 or 3 weeks to get down this negative review, where your potential customers are looking at this negative review for a few weeks with no response on it. So even if it doesn't have anything to do with your business and they reviewed the wrong business because it had a similar name or something like that, still write the apology and the response. You want to make the bad reviewer look crazy. So anything that you can do, you can say, if it's a client and you have a list of clients and they've never even stepped foot in your business and you know that, you can say that, we don't know you, we have a whole list of clients, we have never scheduled anything with you before, or I know Paul probably has some good ideas to make bad reviewers look crazy.
I'm an expert at making people look crazy, Robin. Just kidding. So obviously the saying that I always say is it's better to make them look crazy than let them make you look bad. And you just use that by apologizing. If you're interacting with every single one of your reviewers, both positive and negative, they see that you care about your customers and care about your business. So when they post this one bad review out of the hundreds that you have, and they're saying these off-the-wall comments, that immediately makes that person look crazy. Second, you say we've never served anybody like you before, and knowing that you respond to everybody and they see that in the review responses, that again makes that person look crazy. And then one of my favorites is a restaurant owner that doesn't even serve breakfast. They had a negative. Am I still?
You're on mute now.
Huh.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my favorite things that happened with a business restaurant owner is somebody said that your pancakes were terrible and they don't serve breakfast. So that's an example of, they are crazy. So you could just put on there, I'm sorry that you had a bad experience with someone's pancakes, but we don't serve them at our restaurant. In fact, we don't have breakfast at all. So that's something where you can, through facts, and through apology, make the person look crazy as well. So lots of different things that you can do to do that. Obviously, we're not going out to make them look crazy by calling them crazy. What we're doing is we're creating a situation that other people will deduce that person is crazy.
Yeah, and you don't want to start a fight online, that's for sure, because that could be there permanently. All right. You also want to address their specific items. So go through their review line by line and then respond to each line. You want to be definitely offer your personal contact, be very factual during the reviews. So you want to say, contact me personally at this address, email address or this phone number, and give the business phone number. Or if you want to, you could give your personal cell phone number, but you want to give them an offer, say, we'll give you your money back, we'll refund you. Anything you can do to get that person to either change their review to a 5-star review or take down their review. So if you stick to the facts and you do a great tone and apology, all that kind of stuff is going to make you look great online. And your reputation online, preserve that. So with that, why don't we take a little break and throw it over to Terry.
All right, Robin. Well, I thought you'd never ask. But I wanted to just take a minute for everybody who's joining us today to talk about Awesome Dynamic, take a quick peek and run through our website, and talk about some of the things that we do for our clients. So as you know, today we're talking about the reviews, which goes into our SEO and website side of our business. And for us, as it says right there in front of you, we're all about getting you targeted customers. So the whole idea here is to get people who are searching what you do and getting them to you so you can convert them into clients. I talk about it all our meetings and all our local networking groups, how we have people calling us on a regular basis looking for our services. We no longer are out there hunting for clients. Our clients are finding us and coming right to us. So ways we do that. So we do develop websites, and we're going to make sure they are responsive websites, so they're going to look good on your tablets, on your smartphones, as well as on your computers, and that's very important in this day and age, where over 60% of all the searches and rising are all going to be on tablets and smartphones. So we do that, and in conjunction with that, we have a great website for you now. We want to make sure people are coming to it and we're getting those targeted customers. That's where our SEO services come into play. And we do have many different options for people who want to learn about SEO or would like us to just take over for them and go ahead and get that SEO taken care of and get them ranked so they can be found. Another big part of our business that we talk about on a lot of our webinars is our Amazon consulting business. And that is where we take people that are new to Amazon, people who are existing on Amazon, people who want to be on Amazon, and get them on there and get them to have incredible sales. We've had some results lately that are just off the charts. Clients that are making great strides and a lot of money, frankly, and we like to see that and we like to hear that. We want to help you and your friends who have Amazon businesses do the same. So a lot of different models on that one as well to help you get on to Amazon and get optimized to have great success. And last thing I want to mention that we do, and last but not least, is our Google Virtual Tours, which is something we talk about quite a bit on here, as well as a way to get your business exposed, let people see online what it looks like and be able to check it out without actually getting over there and seeing it, but seeing it right online. And also a great way to get a nice little SEO boost for your company, because especially if your competitors don't have one, it can do a lot for you. So all little ways that we do what we do, but the bottom line is getting you new targeted customers. That's what we're all about, and we like to help you with that. You can reach me, Terry, at awesomedynamic.com. I am the director of sales for the company, and your first step to getting engaged with us. Also give us a call, 800-238-1811. So that is our little mini commercial for the webinar today. And I'm going to turn it back to Robin so we can get back on task.
All right. So how to take down a negative review? Well, don't freak out like this, lady. It's just one review. But one of the first things you can do as a business owner is wait to respond. So I know we said 24 to 72 hours, but you can read the initial review, and a lot of business owners will get just a really upset feeling. And they'll want to, your first response is to respond as soon as possible and just off the cuff. But what you really want to do is wait and kind of plan out your response based on the previous slide. Because it is, permanent, so that's if the review doesn't get it taken down, that response will be permanent. So we want to make sure that. Well,
yeah, and the other thing is you don't want to start a combative argument in a public forum. That can just be so bad for your public reputation.
And you can make some edits to your response, but a version of it could still end up on Google. All right, and then next you want to check Google's policy violations. We're going to go over those in detail, but these are just the highlights of what I've encountered and the most common ones. For example, anything with offensive language or hate speech, you can submit to Google for them to review it, and they'll take usually somewhere between a few days or a few weeks, and then you might get a response from them taking down the review.
I wanted to bring up an example where we wrote a response to a one-star reviewer that reviewed a school. It was a student of that school. And the first review, we did a formal response and to, of course, try and make them look crazy. And we also submitted their review to Google, petitioning them to remove it for a number of reasons. Google said, no, we're not going to remove that. But what's interesting that happened, because the person didn't like the way we framed our response to them, they changed the content of their review and happened to use some language that asserted that one of the teachers was sexist. And that was then submitted to Google by us, and they removed it immediately. Not immediate, I think it was within a couple days, because we got the person to change what they said, and then we were able to take that, give it to Google. Google wiped them right off the listing, which was a fantastic win. So just an interesting story about how the process can go, and how maybe they'll change their review that will give you something that you can use and you can leverage to your benefit. But wanted to give that example real quick. And Robin, why don't you to go ahead and finish out that slide?
Sure. You can't mention specific identities of people. I think in that example they used a specific teacher's name, so you can't do that. And then the age of the reviewer. So in order to leave a Google review or to even have a Gmail account, you have to be 13. Competitors posted, so you can't just go around posting negative reviews on all your competitors. If they can prove it, which is the hard part, then you can get that review taken down. If it has inaccurate information, for example, the pancakes, if it's something that is completely, it has nothing to do with the business, and then you could get it taken down that way. And then we're going to go to the full list here. We can go to Tim's screen. And this is all of the review and photo policies. So you can see if you click under review content policies, that first drop down. We have advertising, spam. You can't just go around leaving reviews on other people's websites with your own website promoting something. You can't leave a phone number and URL, so you can't just copy and paste that kind of stuff in reviews. So this is all really basic stuff that you can get negative reviews taken down if you see this. Anything off topic, so that goes along with inaccurate information. Keeping it clean, no obscene language, offensive language. You can't do personal attacks on other people. And if there's a conflict of interest, for example, that's the employees and the family members. How will they know if they're an employee or a family member? Well, most people put on Facebook or LinkedIn where they work, so they can find out that way. Or a family member, usually if you have the same last name, they can take it down that way. And see, here's the part about the kiosks and the review stations. You can't just set up a kiosk and say, review me. So, all right. Obviously nothing illegal or copyrighted, sexually explicit material. That one's interesting because if it's a business that has something to do with, like, let's say guns, or if it has to do with, some sort of sexual content, you have to actually mark on your Google My Business listing that it's for 18 and up or 21 and up. So for example, like alcohol brands, something like that. They have to mark a special thing on Google My Business, and then it matches to when you make your Gmail account if you can access that based on your birthday. So that's kind of an exception to that. And then impersonation, obviously you can't pretend to be someone else trying to post. And then hate speech and personal and confidential information. So these are all items that you can use as kind of your ammo to get negative reviews taken down. So this is the first thing I check if I got a negative review. So what do you do if you think you have a case? Well, you can go, if you go up to the top and you go to, in that review section on the right side, it says flag and fix inappropriate reviews. So this is where you can go. I'll put this in the chat here.
And Nicole's going to make sure that's in all our links that we have in the chat are in the show notes, and then Phil's going to make sure those are all in the associated blog as well.
All right, so this is how you would do it. You would just first check over the Google review policies, and then you would click on here. There's a place where when you sign into your Google account, you can go to the reviews, and then there's a little place that says flag this review on the actual review. In order to do that, you need a Google My Business listing. You need a username and password that controls the account. I wouldn't recommend using your personal Gmail account. I would make a new Gmail account for business only. But there you can, the same place where you log in to respond to reviews is where you can flag these reviews, and then they'll ask you, you can call Google support, or you can submit a review through email, and then in a few weeks time they'll get back to you either way. So they've gotten back to me if they can't take it down. They'll say, oh, there's no violation, or they'll get back to you if there is a violation and they'll just take it down.
Sometimes there's value in being persistent as well. We always say patience and persistence is important in a lot of things related to technology and what we do for our SEO and Amazon work. So sometimes there's value in persistence, maybe getting past that tier 1 person that said no. Sometimes their answer isn't the final answer. Just something to think about.
Right, you're gonna get that email sent to a random person basically at Google, and maybe one person will say it doesn't, and then another person will say that it does violate a policy, so you could definitely try multiple times.
All right. One thing I wanted to bring up, Tim, I sent you a link with that. I found that survey. It's actually 1 week old. From Bright Local, or one of the companies that we use out of the UK to do a lot of our SEO rank tracking and citation tracking, among other things. These bullet points from this extremely recent survey, I think, are really good to take a look at. A couple of them I agree on, or I think most of them I agree on. The one that I don't agree on is that 7 out of 10 consumers will leave a review for a business if they're asked to. This is the one thing that that our business owners struggle with the most. So that's why during this webinar, we kind of gave you some other techniques to get folks to leave reviews, because that's probably the #1 struggle. But look at some of these other takeaways. 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. 90% of consumers read less than 10 reviews before forming an opinion about a business. So if you have a 1-star reviewer, it's really important to get some more 5-star reviews from your happy customers to bury that 1-star and get it to go below the fold, so people aren't reading that one right at the top. Get 10 more to bury that thing down there. The other thing to think about with that is also if you have 0 reviews on your Google listing, and the first review you get is a 1-star, you're starting with an average of 1 star. So think of getting reviews proactively as a way to protect from an angry customer, a malicious competitor that's going to throw your average down to a 1. If you have 50 5-star reviews and you get 1 1-star, you drop to a 4.9. You don't drop down to a 1 average. If your business isn't a 1 average, proactively go after your happy customers to get those 5 stars to protect your reputation online. 54% of people will visit a website after reading positive reviews. 73% of consumers think that reviews older than 3 months are no longer relevant. That's an interesting one. 74% of consumers say that positive reviews make them trust a local business more. And 58% of consumers say that a star rating of a business is most important. So that really goes to when you show up in Google search results, even if you're not the first result, if you have a higher rating, people may choose to call you right from that Google page and not even go to your website. That happens all the time. Another thing to think about, and we've talked about this before, is say you get a recommendation or you go on Facebook and you say, can anybody recommend a whatever? A lot of people are going to throw a whole bunch of different businesses at them. And what do you think the next step is? They're going to Google you and find out what your reputation is before they make a choice. So really managing your online reputation is so important. And because 86% of this country uses Google to search for what they're looking for, it is so critical to make sure that your Google reviews are handled. All the other places that you have reviews are important, like your Yelp and Facebook, among other things, but make sure that your Google reviews are handled. A lot of people just ignore it, and it's to their detriment because it not only helps you rank higher, but it also helps with people making decisions, decide on you instead of somebody else. So with that being said, I wanted to see if Robin had anything else before we answer a couple questions here. Robin, do you have anything else on the Google review presentation?
Yeah, just start getting reviews today. And it
That's
looks like
right.
we have a question here.
We do. It's from Robert. Robert asks, what is the difference between Google Plus and Google My Business? So I'm going to go ahead and take that one. So when Google Plus first came out, it was very confusing to a lot of people. A lot of people said that it was Google trying to be a Facebook killer with a social media platform. Google Plus has kind of two sides to it. Usually when way back when you signed up for a Google account, it forced you to create a personal Google Plus profile with every Google account. They don't force you to do that anymore. But when you create a YouTube channel, it does create a Google Plus profile, which is a business brand page attached to your Google to a Google Plus brand page that's out there, the YouTube channel Google Plus brand page. So Google My Business, which is what used to be called Google Plus, then Google Places, now Google My Business, and I think it had a couple other names in there, is kind of the other side. When you create a Google profile for your business, it asks you, do you want a storefront, a brand page, and the third one I think is a service area business. But the point is, this Google Plus and Google My Business are somewhat integrated in a certain way, but then Google Plus can also be associated in YouTube in a certain way, and it can also be associated in a person's profile in a certain way. It used to be that a personal Google Plus profile was important to create what was called authorship in Google, to say, hey, that stuff that I wrote there is mine and I wrote it. But then that became much less important over the last couple of years. But this one profile that your YouTube channel creates, that creates this Google Plus brand page for your business, there's a way to connect that to your Google My Business local profile. So this way all your YouTube videos show up on it, and it really creates a lot of great connectivity between your YouTube videos, your business profile, and your website, because you have this correctly set up symbiosis between the three. So getting that set up the correct way can not only help you rank better, but it also can have your YouTube videos for your channel take up spaces in search results for terms that you and your business want to rank for. So there's yeah, it's complicated to say the least, but Google Plus isn't just for businesses. It is for people, and it has its fingers in a lot of different things on YouTube and Google. So I hope that was a comprehensive response. Might be a little bit complicated, but I'd be happy to discuss it with you more next time we chat. I don't know if we have any other questions. Terry, did you have any follow-ups that you'd like to give us on what we talked about today?
Well, I was going to wrap things up, and I was going to start off by saying that, for me as the director of sales, I talk to people all the time. This is a way to really promote and help your business. It will cost you nothing to do it. It will take a little bit of time, not much, and it can be, we talked about the example, but there's many, many more examples of people getting a lot of business because of the reviews that they have. And we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of this and going ahead and putting this process in place. It really comes down to getting set up initially and then asking your happy customers for Google 5-star reviews. So there's really no reason not to be doing it. Very frustrating when I see people that aren't taking advantage of it. And I think we talked about this. This is the nuts and bolts of it. But bottom line, if someone searches for you and there's a couple people that have better search results than you, they don't have those 5 stars, you do, you're going to get the phone call. So this is something that you need to get involved with and get done. It will make a big difference in the business. So with that being said, I want to wrap things up. I would be remiss if I didn't say to you, our viewers, that if you learned anything and found what we did today to be valuable, that you would please go to our website. It would mean a lot to us. And go ahead and go down to the bottom and give us a 5-star Google review. It's very important to our business as well as every other one, and we love to have them, and we would appreciate one from you. So I wanted to say that. Also, if you need help with any of these things, we can revisit this at our regular webinars that we do every Thursday at 12:30 Central Time. Feel free to jump on there. We also have all the past webinars that you can see here that you can look at your leisure and get some help on this and many other subjects. You can reach out to us at 800-238-1811 or write to me by email at terry@awesomedynamic.com. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope to see you next week. Cubs are world champions. I just want to remind you about that in case you forgot. And we look forward to seeing you around next time. So have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Say goodbye, everybody.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye.